puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. The best we ever had, and we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. Running wild, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hey everybody, I'm glad you are here. I'm Tammy, I'm the Siberian Wind, and welcome to another episode of Get Stuff Done. This is just where I get on to show you guys what I'm working on, bring you into my studio, let you see what really goes on behind the scenes, what I work on when I've got time and I don't have a whole lot of distractions. So I'm glad you all are here. I saw Donnell in the chat. I saw Andrea. I'm glad you both are here. I've got 100 Proof Quilter Brandy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm glad you are here. And let's see, I've also got Glenda in the chat. I know, Glenda, you said you will be lurking in and out. And Andrea, you're going to be working on a quilt, so you won't be chatting much. You said finally a day without a headache. I second that. I understand. Last weekend I did those 2 lives for getting stuff done just because I needed to get stuff done, but not because my head did not kill me. So I'm with you. I'm with you. So yeah, if you are lurking in and out, that is perfectly fine. I do play music while I've got my intro screen up. I want to give everybody the chance to kind of drop in and go ahead and say hi and, not feel like they're obligated to try to figure out what I've already said. So that gives everybody kind of a chance to come hang out. And I usually do start the music and the home screen about 15 minutes before I start my lives. And that's just, it gives you time to see the notification, get to a place where you can log in if you're going to log in, and all of that. So I want to say thank you all for being here. I am very, very appreciative that you are here, and we are going to I'm thinking I'm going to be hanging out for about 3 hours today. That's my current expectation. It might work that way. It might not. Hi, it's Kennedy. Glad you are here. Share the name of the pattern beside you. Yes, this is a Quiltworks pattern. Let me grab the link. It is Prismatic Star. My version is a pre-2018 Prismatic Star. However, I'm typing as I am talking, so bear with me just a second. Here we go, Quiltworks patterns. But this pattern is still available on the Quiltworks website. The original pattern that I have was done with with Bally Pops, Hoffman Bally Pops, and then it was 48 Jelly Roll strips to the pack. I did not have 48 Jelly Roll strips to a pack. I had 40 in the pack that I picked. And this collection is Magic Gems by Wilmington Prince. That's where I found mine. And give me just a second and I will grab that link. And this will be directly to the QuiltWorks website. You may be able to find these patterns other places. When you buy a QuiltWorks pattern, you have the option to go back to the QuiltWorks website. Doesn't matter where you got your pattern from originally. You have the option to go to the QuiltWorks website and you can download any updates, or if there were corrections, that's where they're going to be listed. And this pattern, there were QR codes that were incorrect or that were updated on July 20th, 2023. So, anytime they have something, to update, they do update it. I do like them for that. All right, let's see. Andrea, I love it. Thank you. I am in love with it. Now, this section is pieced. This quarter is pieced. This section right here is not, and this section right here is. So I know you can't see that there's no black at the top of this, but there is no border. And of course, I still have a quarter plus an eighth to go. So 3/8 of a piece. Good afternoon, Chloe. Glad you were here. Thank you. Andrea says, I live in Texas, so it'd be a perfect center for a Lone Star quilt. Absolutely. And the nice thing about QuiltWorks, I apologize, I need to get my hair out of my face. It is one of those kinds of days. The nice thing with this pattern is it is all paper piecing. I could have properly paper pieced the sashi and I would have gotten easier. But of course I didn't do that properly. That's me. That is all me. I own it. But the center of all of these is paper pieced. So it went together super fast. I started it on our Big Game Sew Day, which I believe was the first Sunday of February, when Super Bowl Sunday was. Don't quote me that it was the first Sunday, but it was pretty darn close, or if it was the last Sunday of January. It's sports ball. I do follow football, just not professional. But yeah, so this, it went together super fast, and putting the sashing on went together fast. And last weekend on my Saturday live, Andrea, if you did miss it, go back and watch that. I show how I am fixing all of these to make sure that they line up. The pattern does not, my pattern, my pre-2018 pattern, does not give clear instructions on how to line this up to get these clean seams or clean lines between the diamonds. You've got your sashing and all of that, but it doesn't give those clear directions. At least I couldn't understand them. So I am, I show how I fixed that. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, I was working on the Elizabeth Hartman. So I have, let me see if I can pick it up without dropping it. I have stacks. These are my teal and my yellow. I got the yellow pieced while I was on the live on Sunday. So you guys chose yellow, so I did get all the yellow done. I actually have red, gray, purple, green, and I feel like I'm missing one, but I've got a whole bunch of others already done. You get your Social Security. Okay, yes, absolutely. That is the best time to buy it. The best time is when you have money. So the other one that I've shown you guys is this Elizabeth Hartman. I will be showing more about my progress on this and what I'm going to be doing or what I expect to be doing on Tuesday. So if you do want to see what my layout is going to be, I should know by then. I do not know it right now. I am actually at the point of almost being able to assemble everything. I've got a couple of things on it I'm going to work on today. So I've got my Elizabeth Hartman pulled out. What I'm going to work on after that is more of the prismatic star. So where my seams do not line up on these diamonds, I will probably be spending time ripping to fix it. And so we'll be spending some time doing that. And we will also be spending some time, first off, on my cotton cuts. And I chose chestnut, or my husband chose chestnut. So my first order of business today is getting my clue number 2 done. So I'm going to swap real quick, and I have got a different screen I'm going to pull up. So I know I'm kind of out of the screen. Let me see if I can edit that, get me better in the screen for you guys. There we go. All right, now my head's not like completely out of screen the whole time. So you guys are going to be able to see my machine. I will get my light turned off here in just a second. So you guys get to see me working on my cotton cuts mystery. So this is the chestnut colorway, and yes, it is behind plastic on the binder. So the fabrics you're going to see today are my fabric fabric D, my fabric A, and my fabric, actually, yeah, you will see fabric C as well. So there are only 3 fabrics in this block for me. And there are going to be 4 of them. So Cotton Cuts does give you the layout, and it's just labeled block 2. So it gives you the layout of everything. And if you do not have your color card for it, you can go back to your email and reprint it. Apparently that's something that they're doing new this year, but I absolutely love that. And so yeah, so you lay it out, make sure you've got everything, and then you can start assembling. So I know that Andrea, you said you were going to be working on your quilt. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that quilt is? And Chloe, if you're hanging out, what might you be working on? I know Donnell said she is working on watching The Wizard of Oz with her family. I have not seen The Wizard of Oz in many years. However, I do love it. I was actually, one of my favorite movies growing up was the Alice in Wonderland. Of course, it was the Disney. It was pre-90s, so, there's a lot that, we can say for that. And there we go. All right, so you guys should be able to see. Let me actually, bear with me just a moment. I'm going to move this camera down just a hair, if I can. All right, let's see. Apparently people are messaging me, even though I've told them I'm going live. And let's see, do I not get to... Okay, I don't get to move. I apologize. I thought I could, you guys. Alright. So I did just hear from somebody who is logging into the video. You do have to subscribe to be able to chat. I've got it set up that way. That way we don't have bots and spammers coming into the chat, and I don't have to get all upset with them. Alright, my machine is not working. I just cleaned it out, so we're going to see what's going on. My quilt is one for my great-grandson. I am hand quilting. Oh my goodness. It is scrappy and features children's prints. Oh, that's so sweet. I cannot hand quilt to save my life. Handwork is not my thing. I know people who love it. And if you love it, that's great. Absolutely. I love you for it. But handwork is not my thing. Not my thing. I mean, I do some handwork. Don't get me wrong, I will do some, but it is definitely not my favorite. My favorite. All right, I'm going to pull a test or scrap piece. We're going to see. Okay, so my machine liked that. It just didn't like this corner. So we are going to use it as a leader. I am fine with that today. Yeah, if you ever have a problem where your machine is eating your fabric, always just put a leader in front. Under proof, my sewing machines are named Alice and Mad Hatter. Oh, that's awesome. I just made a new friend recently, and her name is Alice, and we are kind of working on a group thing together, and she wants to name everything like Alice in Wonderland themed, and I think it's just absolutely adorable. It's just the best thing in the world. Absolutely phenomenal. That's a great idea. I don't know, what all, like we're going to have like breakout groups and things like that. So I don't know what all names we're going with, but I think one was like painting the roses red and, all the fun stuff from the movies. And I have honestly never read any of the books. I will be upfront about that. I've never read any of the books, so I don't know how they compare to the stories that were told, like the Disney story and all of that. So there we go. Now, do you guys want me to make the machine the whole screen? Would that help you see? I mean, you let me know if that would. Do you like having my face up here even though I'm looking down? Or do you want the whole screen, just the machine, so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing? Of course, as I don't line my pieces up, that's my fault. It is operator error. Yeah, and so 100 proof. I'm assuming Brandy, because that's what Donnell called you. I haven't met you personally, and I have not had time to follow anybody lately. So if you are Brandy, just let me know that that's your name, because I don't want to get it wrong. Chloe says I've not read them either. Yeah, no. I have kind of progressed to audiobook stage. I read a lot as a kid, and I'm a great reader. I can read and I can comprehend, and I could be an editor if I want. It's Brandy. Okay, good. Yeah, I could be an editor if I want, but I'm not a big reader anymore. I used to be. My mom devours books. My son devours books. I am just not. I'm stuck in the middle. If it is not a quilting book or literature about how to quilt or a quilting pattern, I don't read. I take that back. I read a little bit of news, just a little bit. So Brandy, so this is Beauty. This machine is Beauty. I have Ricky that I travel with, and it's a Ricky Timms edition Bernina machine. And then my long arm is the Beast. It is a sit-down long arm, but it weighs just as much as Beauty, if not more. Beauty is a very heavy machine. It's a Bernina 770, and Ian has the same machine body, but his is a Tula Pink edition. So, it's got the extra little oomph from Tula Pink. I got mine before Tula Pink became a big deal. Like, Tula Pink was just starting to come out as a big deal when I got my 770. So there was not a Bernina 770 that had Tula Pink on it. So mine is a plain one, but she's still beautiful. She sounds so much better because I cleaned her out. It's amazing. So yeah, if you are listening and you are not able to chat, you do have to subscribe to the channel. And it is set at 10 minutes. So once you have subscribed, you do have to wait 10 minutes before you can chat. That is, again, it's just a safety feature. You're just so jelly if it's too late. Yeah. Okay. So I personally met Ricky Timms. So I kind of had a little bit of like fangirling over his quilts and his process and all. So I'm kind of in love with Ricky. My Ricky. Because, you know, I can have my Ricky. The other Ricky, he's got his own full life. So that is kind of an old school thing. Okay, let's see. Let me go in and make sure that my chat is set correctly. Because I just got a message that someone is still having trouble chatting. You may have to... I'm wondering if we're going to have to leave the video and then come back to it. Let me make sure I've got all my settings set. I've got all of that. And let me hit that button because I know it won't mess anything up. And customization. Subscribers. Yeah, it is set for 10 minutes. I will drop it down to 5 and see if that refreshes it. And let's see. There we go. All right. So yeah, if you have not, like if you are still not able to chat, leave the video and then come back to it. Like leave it and go back and click the link or whatever to get back in. And it should let you chat. You just heard about Ricky Timms. Okay. So I don't know what all you've heard. I have been to Paducah. I went at least 3 years. I think that's it. I think 3 years was all I got to go to. I used to live in Alabama, so it wasn't, you know, where I went or where I was living. Paducah was not that bad of a drive. I could make it in one day. You know, of course I had to spend the night. I couldn't drive to Paducah and then spend the day and then drive back. I couldn't handle that. Not that I could have handled it to begin with, but, you know. So in Paducah, every year that I went, Ricky Timms was a presenter, or he was presenting, and they would put him up in the concert hall. And I have not checked out Paducah lately, so if he's still coming to Paducah, awesome, great opportunity to go see him. And if if he isn't, that is what they were doing. But he plays instruments, and they would have the concert hall set up with his quilts hanging from the rafters or the catwalk or whatever it's called up there. They would have his quilts hanging, so you would be able to look at all of his beautiful quilts that he had on display. And he would tell you stories, and he would play. And you could buy music after the fact and all of that. So one year I went to the concert, and I made sure that my service dog and I got a picture with Ricky Timms. And I was so insanely proud of myself. Because it was the most amazing thing ever. And like I'd not met a whole lot of celebrities, and every time I went to like the Quilt in a Day store, Eleanor Burns was like super busy. Like there was always too many people around. I could not make it through the crowds. I struggled. But I went, and managed to get my picture with Ricky Timms. And then the following year, I had my Ricky Timms edition Bernina. And I saw him in his booth. He had a vendor booth. And I saw him in his booth and asked him if it would be okay if I could, convince they tell you not to bring bags. They tell you there's a lot of things you can't bring into like the vendor area, because people would bring full on shopping carts and have them loaded down if they could. completely understandable. Completely understandable. But he had his booth, and I was like, if they will let me bring my sewing machine in here, I have it in a rolling case, and it's a Ricky Timms edition Bernina. Would you autograph it for me? And he said, absolutely. And he said, they won't have a problem with it. Just when you get up here, just tell them, it's your sewing machine and where you're bringing it. I was like, okay. So the very next day, I went, hi, Maritza, glad you are here. Glad you are here. Thank you. The very next day, I went and I hauled my machine all the way through the vendor hall, all up and down the aisles to go to Ricky Timms's booth. He was there, and he had a Sharpie, and he autographed my machine, and he dated it. It was 2016. So I'll never forget what year he autographed my machine. So yeah, my Ricky Timms is kind of a personal. I'm not getting rid of that thing. I am not getting rid of it. Okay, so I've got all my little triangles pieced, and I'm going to look at my directions and see what direction I need to press real quick. I'll bring you guys over to the pressing station. All right, so we're pressing towards A on those, and we're pressing towards D on those. All right, so these are towards A, those are towards D. Okay, I'm going to swap you guys over. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate it. It's like... It's definitely my life. I'm going to move my Dr. Pepper out of the way. Oh, let's see. There we go. So, let's pull you guys over here. Okay. So, I did have to clean my iron earlier. So, my iron is nice and purty. Not a whole bunch of stuff all over it. I did have to clean it earlier, though. That's one of the things I was doing before I could bring you guys on, was I just needed to get my iron cleaned up. And maybe, well, it's right there, but I don't have any way to fill it. I need to get one of those little dropper things or something to fill it with. Because I just fill it with my starch. I don't buy the Easy Press liquid. None of my local quilt shop does not sell them. And I went to a store that was 45 minutes or an hour away, something like that. And yeah, that's where I got mine. But I didn't really want to spend the extra on the liquid. I just figured I'd use starch anyway, So, what are you working on today, Maritza? And then, Brandy, did you say what you were working on? Or if you were working, or if you're just lurking and hanging out? And being a proud supporter? Which I don't mind. I just don't want to bore anybody. I am always worried that I'm going to be boring people. You're at work. Oh, yeah. That's always a place to be. Not always the place I want to be, for sure, but it is definitely a place to be. All right, so here are my A and C. So this light fabric is my A, and that is my C fabric. Looks like bricks. I don't know how they coordinated this collection. I don't know how they chose some of these fabrics. I don't know if the designer of the fabrics works with them or not. I guess I need to see if I can get Cotton Cuts to come on and do an interview with me, so I can ask them things like that. Ask them all the burning questions. I know Kim Moose from Cotton Cuts did an interview with Katie from Greenland Quilter, and I was on that Zoom and live with them, but I didn't get to ask all the questions I wanted to ask. Weekends are slows. I'm on special assignment doing computer stuff. Okay. And Chloe says I'm cutting pieces for the 7th block and the block Wednesday Pat Sloan so long. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I have not been following Pat Sloan closely lately, so I might need to go check out and see. Because I have not had any energy to do a sew along. I've got too many irons in the fire right now. And I promise the iron in my hand is not in the fire. It's just on. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am just using my ironing board has silver underneath it. It has that special ironing board fabric underneath. So what I'm doing, because I still have all that heat, is I'm just laying my last piece on top of it, or my next piece on top of my last piece. And so this is my entire stack of pieces as I'm pressing. I don't feel like there's any reason to use up a whole bunch of extra space if I don't need to. And I'm repurposing all the heat that's coming back from my ironing board. I do need to wash my ironing board cover again, though. It's kind of getting a little dingy looking. I do use starch, so starch is going to make things look dingy faster. Let me check a message real quick. Oh, that's hot. Ooh. Ow, 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 ow. That was hot. It's Kennedy, so I'm helping a friend with a quilt right now, but I'm working on it because it is my design wall. And apparently, I can't just have something hanging there when I feel creative. Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. Let me see if I got another message from the person that... No new messages, I don't think. Let's see. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna grab a potato chip. So I'm sorry, you guys. At least the good thing about this is I'm not right up on the microphone. So you guys might hear me chip or crunch occasionally, but I'm doing it because I'm not eating lunch right now. Actually, Brandy, I've got a whole bunch of computer stuff I'm going to be doing later. I have been put on a board. When I said I've got too many hours in the fire, I got too many hours in the fire. I got a lot of stuff I'm working on. But I'm now on a board. I'm going to have a lot of extra stuff I've got to do. All right. So I'm going to go back to the design layout. And so I'm looking, and what is going to happen is down here at the bottom, try not to hit the microphone while I show you guys. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. So my D triangles are going to go towards my D square and my D rectangle. And then my C and A combo is up here. It kind of looks like a screw, don't you think? Kind of looks like one of those little bitty wood screws that you get in those IKEA kits. It kind of looks funny, but it kind of looks like that. That's what I think. So let's see. All right, so I got 4 of each. And so we're going to lay those out in the right direction. It's Kennedy. I have to work on a poster later tonight for an organization I'm in. I understand. Believe me, I do. Let's see. I need to do some computer database stuff. A lot of what I've got to work on is database related. So I get to have all that kind of fun. All right, so my AC to my D and my AD to my A are going to go together, and they're both going to join to this. Oh, but this joins to that before. Okay, all right. I know how they want me to do it. I can make that work. So we're going to grab our D, this is D. All right, our D square and our AC, and we are going to sew along this top edge. And I am not a Cotton Cuts ambassador, so I'm not worried about doing tutorials for this. But if you are working on the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery and you're working on small, that is the size I am working on, is a small. If you are working on that and you run into problems and you don't know who else is doing one, I am, and I would be more than happy to help you figure out where you got what you got to do to fix where you're at, if that makes sense. I do not mind at all. So I'm gonna get these. This is 4 blocks of the same thing, and then I will be working on that Elizabeth Hartman. I've got a little bit of cutting, not a lot, and then I've got basically 2 flying U's to fix. I didn't have enough rectangles for my blue, and then I didn't have enough, or I sewed one of my orange stripes on incorrectly, in the incorrect direction. So I already cut it, so I can't just rip and fix. So I have to cut a little bit of orange to be able to fix that. And when I get to that, I will show you guys just how tight the yardage is for the Elizabeth Hartman quilts. Because there is not a lot of give room if you run into a problem. And I did get all of those Elizabeth Hartman fabrics at Joann's. And I did not think when I went to Joann's the other day to get more, just in case, of the orange fabric. So if I don't have enough, I will figure out a way. You guys will get to see my brain work. I've not looked in detail as to what I need to cut, so I think I've got enough to cut just that. Hi, Sean. Everybody say hi to Sean, the guy who sews. He is here. At least we are doing the time change now, and it was not this morning that I needed to be on your live. Oh, you know what? I just sewed wrong direction. Gosh darn it. Go figure. I knew I might end up doing that. All right, let's grab scissors, cut it off, and we are going to rip. So what I needed to do is my square up here is fine. My triangle here needs to be where my dark triangle is here, not here. And I can't just rotate it. It doesn't go anywhere else in the block. Well, you know what? It does go somewhere else. Ooh. Yep, I'll be fine. I could have left it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew back over it because I'm not going to rip anything. And I'm going to sew this one correctly, the correct direction. And then these others that need to go the opposite direction, I will go ahead and get them going too. Because I've already got one. So now I got all the others. You did that twice yesterday during my live and once more later in the day. I have been pretty darn good about getting everything sewn in the correct direction lately. It's just this once. There's always that once. All right, I've got 1, 2. That one's not. So I got 3 the correct direction. So let me grab this one from this pile because it's the opposite direction. And let me sew this the correct direction. And then I don't have to rip anything else. It is definitely a Sunday. It's definitely a Sunday. All right. So I love having you guys along to see kind of what actually goes on in my studio, because it is definitely not polished at all. Like, my lives are a lot more polished than this. I usually have everything prepped. You know, if I had like file folders for everything, yeah, I would have file folders for everything, but I don't. I am going to be moving at the end of May, so I will be finalizing some details about that, hopefully within the next week, I'm thinking. I should be able to get at least something in writing or something finalized. And then I will be probably starting to move at the beginning of May. So my May lives may be kind of like a little bit of a hiccup. So we're just going to see how things go. I've got stuff planned in the works. Hi Joyce, glad you are here. Thank you for joining. Let's see. How was lunch? She commented, if you guys are not members of the Facebook group, you can go over there and join. If you want to share what you're working on, see what I'm working on that I can't share on my lives, you guys can go over there. So if we get too far down in the chat, if you ever didn't click the link when you wanted to, come back and do !FB, and that will give you a link to it. I did also put the link for this upcoming Tuesday's video, or in this upcoming Tuesday's video, I did put the link in the chat for that, or for the description for the Facebook group there too. Oh, chicken fried steak. That sounds delicious, Joyce. I did not have lunch. My lunch is some potato chips. Not exactly the most healthy option, but it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to take you guys back over to the ironing board. Let me grab you guys and take you with me, and not forget to take you with me, because I do have that separate link, that separate button to click. I caught myself the other day forgetting to click the link. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I, of course, have to knee the ironing board. All right, so I'm going to separate these out. These are my AC units. And there's my last one. I've got 4 of those. All right, and the seam is going to go towards my triangles, towards my half square triangles. So, Sean, what are you working on today? We're hearing from everybody else. And for those of you who do not know, this upcoming Saturday, I will be on Sean's channel. There's Dr. Pepperbot. Yes, yes. I only have 2 of them in here with me today. I will be on Sean's channel as his honored guest, and I am very honored that he invited me. Very glad. I am just not glad about the time, but it is what it is. Got to work with his subscriber base. He's got a following over there at 6 a.m. my time. And yeah, that is a huge struggle, but I am doing that for Sean. You are worth it, Sean. All right, so there's my AC and D units. You've been filming most of the morning. Oh, goodness. Yeah, those filming days. There's days that I don't mind filming, and then there's days that just, why? Why must I film? All right, and because I had all that extra thread, because I thought I screwed up when I didn't actually need to take it off the machine, I'm just cutting some extra little thread that's going to pull. All right. Now it's going to leave me wondering what he filmed. I may have to try to get the inside scoop. All right, so this is my up and down unit, and this is going to go down towards the triangles as well. And actually, now that I look at it, all of them are going towards the triangles. All right, that makes that simple. I don't have to guess. I have a haircut after our live. I missed my last one due to illness, and it's needed. Ooh, yeah. People with long hair tend to get lucky on that. They don't have to get haircuts as frequently. to feel like they're presentable. I am one of those with long enough hair that if I got my hair cut right now, it would be noticeable because I probably would. I'd probably get it cut a lot shorter than I need to. I enjoy filming and try to do it before everyone is up and moving around. I do not blame you. My problem is I have a puppy dog that is up and moving around the moment I am. So he likes to invade the entire house, play with toys, get into things, and yeah, it's not a quiet house the moment he is up. Now, give it another hour and he's back asleep and napping comfortably while we're all going, grumbling about the fact that he woke us up. The fact that he was awake and so excited to be awake. So thrilled to be awake. Chloe says, nice, I need a haircut. My hair is too long. Someday, yep. Well, see, I will tell you, this is the longest my hair has been in a really long time. When I lived in Alabama and was dealing with all the humidity, I could not grow my hair long because it actually hurt to have long hair. So being able to grow it long is kind of a cool thing. All right, so I've got 2 different units. They don't go together like that, but they are 2 different units. Joyce says, when I cut my hair long, I got it trimmed every 6 months. Now that it keeps short is every 3. Yes. Sean says, haha, I feed mine first thing, then they go to sleep. I wish mine would do that. So first, our order of business is we get up, then we go outside for outside things. And because I live in an apartment complex, I do not have a yard. And so I have to walk a fairly good distance, but I have to get completely dressed, boots, coat, all of that. If, depending on the weather, I have to get dressed completely for going completely outside and being out in the wind and everything else. So it's a lot more involved than just opening the back door. I am sorry. I bumped the camera. All right. And Andrea said I could sit on my hair until I got sick and could not take care of it, which is about 4 years ago. I cut it real short. I missed it so much. Now it's long again. And today I have it in pigtail braids. Oh, that's awesome. I haven't done pigtail braids in a while. I might have to do that soon. My pigtail braids won't be super long though, because my hair is not very long at all. I mean, it's long enough to do like short little braids, but it's not long enough to do a whole bunch. I'm gonna leave it down for a minute and see how I cope. All right, I am gonna lay this out and make sure. There we go. There's mine. All right, I took it with me. I'm going to lay this out and make sure I've got everything laid out the correct direction. And it is coming together. I don't know how well you guys can see that all the way over here, but it is coming together. All right. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. All right, so join these 2 together. And then I'll join that unit to that. Okay. So that's going to be first, and then I can also join this while I'm at it because that's got to all be joined together. Okay. Oh, you know what? I could just chain piece it. We're going to chain piece. We are going to chain piece. You're going to see how I chain piece. If you haven't already picked up that I chain piece. By my piles and piles and piles of flying geese working on that Elizabeth Hartman. Sean says, mine's not long enough yet to do braids. If I skip the next haircut, maybe it will be soon. Oh, goodness. That's funny. So, I know I've talked about my husband a little bit, and I don't talk about him a whole lot because he's not on my lives. But my husband was in the Marine Corps. He served in the military, and he's very proud that he was a Marine, as he should be. I feel like I'm not being able to slide up where I want to be. Okay, there we go. So, if you have never met a Marine, a U.S. Marine, they love their high and tight haircuts. And they love to be clean shaven or like very, very tight beard or whatever. You know, they like to be, they're all about a very, very trimmed hairstyle and facial hair and all of that. All of that has to be just so. And he has toyed with the idea of growing his hair out because, you know, I think it's kind of cool. I would, you know, it'd give me something to play with, you know. He has a full head of hair. He didn't have the balding or whatever. He has got a full head of hair. So, like, I could play with it. Not that I'm going to do anything with it, but it would give me something to play with, you know. It's just that. Please thank him for his service. I will. I definitely will. But, yeah, so he continues to cut his hair short, but he toys with the idea of growing it out. Every time he tells me he's going to grow it out, I look at the calendar and I go, okay, 2 months is what day? Okay, it will be trimmed back by then. Because I know he's not going to be able to handle it. He cannot handle growing his hair out. I will, Joyce. Thank you. Andrea says, my grandmother was 6 foot tall and had 12 feet of hair that she braided and wrapped around her head. She never in her life cut her hair. I've met people that have that long of hair. I went to school with quite a few people who, and until 5th grade, I could sit on my hair. Like, my hair was long. But I went to school with people, and I knew people who, they had to have their hair trimmed so that they wouldn't step on it. And that was, like, how they had their hair cut. Like, if they had their hair cut, it was somebody, like, the person with the hair stood up in a chair, and somebody sat on the floor and trimmed their hair to, like, the top of their shoes, like their ankle level, so that they could last, like, another, you know, whatever, month or so before they had to have it trimmed again. But, yeah, I learned when I cut my hair. So my first haircut was 5th grade, and I could sit on my hair before then. And I lived in Alabama, so we had a lot of humidity, and I'd never had short hair, so I didn't know what to do with it. When I finally was able to get my hair cut, we got it cut. It was probably about this length. To be honest, it was a little longer than shoulder. So yeah, it wasn't short, but this was a major improvement for lengthwise. And my hair went poof, and I had, like, there was no taming my mane. There was no taming it. Sean says, mine is driving me nuts, and it's been 3 months. Oh, wow. So I can relate to your hubby. I had to keep clean shaven and hair short when I worked for Chick-fil-A, and it stuck. Yep. Andrea says, my second husband was a Marine in Vietnam. He had terrible PTSD. He also came back a different person, very abusive. I could not stay with him. I do not blame you one bit, Andrea. I do not blame you. The things that our service members see and have to cope with from their time in the service is beyond what we could ever imagine. They're not taught to talk about it. They're taught, this is a military thing. You don't talk about this. This is, just suck it up. And especially Vietnam era, yeah, especially then. My husband was not Vietnam, but he still saw some things that I could not handle seeing. And the fact that he still has his wits about him is a godsend. I mean, it is absolutely a blessing to have him here with me. But yeah, the stuff that he saw, I wouldn't wish anybody to see it, even in a horror movie, but he got to see stuff in real life that shouldn't say got to, but you know it. You know how it is. There's just things that happen. Joy says, my husband was a Vietnam vet too. He had PTSD, but he wasn't abusive, but just drank a lot. Yeah, everybody has a different coping mechanism. I'm going to take you guys over the iron. Everyone has a different coping mechanism for how they handle that kind of stress. And that is honestly what it is. There's no two ways about it. That is pure stress. And I cannot imagine trying to hold all of this in and trying to cope. I mean, and if you've got a family history of alcohol abuse, or you've got a family history of anger issues, or all of that, which they did not screen for when they were accepting these people into the military to begin with. If you've got those in your family history and that's how you've been taught to cope with things, what else are you supposed to do? You're not being given the tools. Hi, Lisa. Glad you are here. I am pressing my next section for my Cotton Cuts mystery, and then I'll be back on the main camera again. Please feel free to tell us what you are working on. We've just been talking military service and all of that. We started talking about haircuts. That is how we got there. Haircuts into military service into hi, Lisa. But this is a good Sunday. It's calm here, so that's good. Got time to get on and hang out with you guys and get some much needed sewing done. And it's not the super boring stuff, because if I was doing all the pressing, I would, I love her name too, Sean. If I was doing all the pressing of all those flying geese, I think you guys would fall asleep. I mean, I could talk through it, but it was hours. It was definitely a brutal section. All right, so it is going to go this way in the block. There we go. I think, nope, it does go that way. But I do have it laid out correctly. So you guys are seeing, I think, reverse maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out in just a minute. All right, let's go. Ooh, I guess I am not putting anything pressed onto my sheet protector. My sheet protector is actually a little warped now, and these were just pressed. Oops. All right, here we go. Yeah, holding the camera frame while I move, that works well. All right, so I am going to chain piece, so let me line these up so that I don't chain piece them the wrong direction. Andrea says, back to my quilt. I'll be with you for another hour, then I'll go to Debbie's live. Oh yes, definitely give her some love and support too. Absolutely. And catch the rest of mine on replay. Absolutely. Replay is better than no play. I do agree with Donnell. I don't know how she can watch a movie and watch live, but that's okay. That's her. She's allowed. Lisa, I'm preparing for a presentation of Fine Arts Club tomorrow about quilting. I'm hoping to have my Quilt My Life quilt done later today. Awesome. If you want, Lisa, if you want to share that, and I will put let me get to the screen so it's actually typing. We are going to do exclamation FB. There we go. And that will give you a link to the Facebook group. So if you want to share pictures of that and want me to share pictures of it on Tuesday, you're welcome to do that. I am planning to do, at the beginning of April, I'm going to do a trunk show of what people have shared on the Facebook group. If you want to have that shared. Me chatting in your ear has you in a groove of creativeness. All right, let's rock it. Awesome. So any of you who did not catch Tuesday night's live, I had Donnell on here with me, And we were just sewing we weren't sewing, we were coloring and chatting. And I know, Sean, you were saying that you were interested in knowing more. Absolutely. Come watch my video if you haven't already. It is last Tuesday night's video. So I walk through exactly how we do all of it. So there's no questions and you'll get great results every time. But before the live went up, so Donnell and I could see each other while everybody else saw the starting soon screen that I've got. And we could hear the music, but we couldn't hear each other. So we were just like dancing to the music. Like we could see each other and we were dancing and laughing, just at each other, just being silly. And then once we got on the live, we were having to calm ourselves down. Yes, absolutely watch it. And if you have any questions or comments, definitely drop them in the comment box on the videos, because I do look for them. I may not catch them immediately, but I do go back and look for my comments. Yeah, we had a blast coloring. Mine, where did I put mine? It's over there. I see it. I have not put it up anywhere yet. I don't know if I'm going to put my pumpkins up. I'm going to put my VW Bug up sometime. I just haven't done it yet. But I think I may just wait until after the move now. So, once I get my new studio set up, wherever that's going to be, I think I know where it's going to be, but it's going to be local. I know that, so it's going to be a local move. But yeah, I have not seen what it's going to look like, and I can't plan anything yet. It is the most nerve-wracking thing in the world for a control freak. Moving, I can move, and I can move to unknown within reason. But I like to pre-plan all my furniture. My mom taught me growing up how she planned the furniture moves when she rearranged furniture at the house. And she would take graph paper and she would draw out the exact size of the sofa, the exact size of the coffee table, the rocking chair, everything that was going into that room. If it was a bedroom, she'd draw out the bed and the dresser and, all the furniture. And she would literally sit there and play Tetris, moving things around and seeing how much room she was going to have to walk around things and all of that. So that way, when my dad and other guys went to go move stuff, actually physically move it, she wasn't going, well, I want it over there, and then, changing her mind 5 minutes later. Because I don't think my dad would have put up with it. He wasn't he's growing up, the dad that I remember growing up, he was not very patient with indecision. I think he's a little bit more patient with it now, but he definitely wasn't when I was growing up. So I think he would have been a little aggravated if Mom didn't know exactly where everything was going to go. And I did pick up that from my mom. I did pick up that. All right, last piece to the chain piece. And then we get to press the seams. And so the last seams, press that, and we are done. And that will be all 4 blocks. Lisa says, I do graph paper too, much easier than constantly moving furniture. Yes, it is. My problem is I don't know what size room I'm going to have. I don't know any of the measurements. It's not a standard. When we moved here to this apartment complex, we were supposed to be moving into a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and it wasn't available when we were supposed to move in. And so all my plans for where furniture was going to go kind of went out the window. But we did get to see the apartment before we actually moved. So it wasn't completely unknown. I'm going to take you guys over with me. So it wasn't completely unknown, but it still was, I didn't have as many of the measurements, but because it's an apartment complex, there was a lot that was standard. So I could look, if I had all the measurements of all my furniture that I thought I was going to be able to bring in, then I would have been able to plan a little bit better. But, you know, having the extra room, all we knew is that anything and everything that was going to be sewing was going to be in here. That was it. That was all we knew. All right. So this seam is going to go up. And that means that this other seam is going to go down. And that is correct. By the way, I like I like when chain piecing like this, when you are able to chain piece, because then once you transfer something, you know, I was just at the machine, so now that I've transferred to the ironing board, I'm not having to figure out which direction this piece goes. It's attached. It's not going anywhere. So I don't have to figure anything out. It takes a lot of the extra brain work out of it. So you will find as you watch me more and more, if you haven't already figured it out, I chain piece everything when I can. If there's a way to chain piece, I do it. I definitely do it. Chain piecing is my friend. So, you know, I chain piece all those flying geese for the Elizabeth Hartman, and that made it go a lot faster. Now, granted, I didn't get to see rewards as quickly. That's the only thing I don't like about chain piecing, is you don't get that instant reward, that instant gratification that you would get from doing one block at a time. However, I knew I was going to get it done, and I knew I had to get it done, so I really didn't have a choice. Awesome. Thank you, Maritza. I will go get you approved. Give me just a second. Let me pull that up. And of course, it's not already pulled up for me to make it super simple, because that would be too easy. All right, you are in and approved. Thank you, Maritza. Brandy says, work is over. It is time to drive home. No YouTube and driving, folk. See you later. Awesome. I will probably still be on when you get home, unless you live that far away from work. So you're welcome to join us back if you want. Lisa says, chain piecing is my favorite part of quilting projects. Absolutely. Because I kind of have this like little enjoyment of seeing all these pieces piling up behind the machine. Yes, Joyce, absolutely, you're correct. Maritza, Brandy, be safe. Please be safe. Drive very safe. Yeah, I have this, it's that satisfaction of seeing all those little pieces, you know, piling up, and, you know, as you get more and more pieces assembled, they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So like all the stars that I've assembled, you know, they're all back here, but all these stars that I've assembled, I chain pieced them as well. I literally had, you know, 2 sides assembled, and then came back and did, you know, the last side of everything. And then I didn't even clip them apart before I started sewing the other sides together. I just started clipping them apart as I went to assemble them that way, so that I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, losing anything or anything being misplaced or whatnot. All right, let's see. One more seam to press on this one, and then we can go back and sew these last seams together and press, and our block 2 units will be done. Are we doing speed piecing today? Is that what I'm doing? I don't know. I just like this. This is coming out really cute. All right, so we are going to come back to the machine. There we go. And move my Dr. Pepper out of the way. I had to move it a couple of times now. So yeah, I love when you've got the chain stitching or chain piecing, I love that you can just come up here and your seam is super easy to just nest up together, because all you are doing is, like, I mean, there's already a thread there. The only time chain piecing does not work is if you are, if you need to press your seams open. Chain piecing does cause a little bit of headache for that, but nothing that a quick little pull with the seam ripper won't fix. Beauty is sounding so gorgeous. I cleaned her out a lot. She's so much quieter than she's been. It's amazing how nice your machine sounds when you've cleaned it out. And I just got lint out of it. She's dropping lint. It's left over. I love having a clean machine. I need to clean Ricky. And then I need to clean the beast because I need to do some quilting. Oh, so that was the other thing. So because I'm moving in May, I've got this project is ongoing. So this is not going to be a simple, get the Tree of Life together kind of option. This is going to take, until they give me all the clues. So I'm not going to be able to whip this up. But I am going to try to get Prismatic Star off the wall. She's going to be completely pieced, and the top is going to be done. And I need to have her basted and ready to quilt before the beginning of May. I've got another entire quilt top to do. It'll be my temperature quilt. I've got to get that, the sample temperature quilt. I want it done by the end of March if I can, but we're already on day 10. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I may be setting too lofty of a goal on that, but that was my goal, so that's what I'm going to try for. If I end up having to push it off a few months, that's what I'll do, if that's what comes of it. Then I've got my super secret project that I post about on Facebook, in the Facebook group, in the private group. That project is due this summer, so I kind of need to have it ready to baste and quilt before I move as well, so that once I move in, my first order of business will just be quilting. It won't be piecing. That way I'm not trying to figure out where everything is. I can just sit down at one machine, all inclusive, and just get some stuff done. And then in between quilting time, I can be unpacking and setting things up. So kind of my goal is to have all this ready to quilt before then. All right, so we have got 4 blocks pieced. So I'm going to cut this off, and I don't think I'm going to need this for a little bit, so I'm going to set it aside. So let's go, or let me trim these apart, and I'll leave you guys here. I won't keep dragging you guys over. And then once these are pressed, that's one project down for today, and the next one will be the Elizabeth Hartman, getting those couple flying geese fixed, and then on to the Prismatic Star. And I think we will be just fine doing that. I do apologize that I'm eating in front of you guys. I'm very, very sorry. I hope you're not taking offense that I'm eating in front of you. I'm not going to eat a whole meal or nothing like that. Everybody got quiet. They're just listening to me. Everybody's just listening. But that's okay. I understand. We have one block. One little screw-looking block. I wish they would put names with each of these blocks. Give them a name. Like maybe this is block Susan, or maybe this is block Joseph, That'd be kind of unique too. Just to have all the blocks named. And if these are not completely safe or completely flat when I go to assemble everything later, I will hit it with starch. I mean, they're flat right now, but because I'm not using starch right now, they may not stay completely flat, but they're going to be under the other clues, so we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. All right. So, okay. What is a quilt pattern that you want to do that is like a bucket list quilt pattern for you? Is there a quilt pattern that you are just dying to do, or you just want to eventually do that you have not done? Lisa, virtual M&Ms to everyone, less calories for our back orders. I love it. Now, if we talk about food too much, I'll get hungry. But that's hilarious. I love it. I might come over and grab some M&Ms. I'm just kidding. No. But yeah, what is, if you were to make a quilt that you have not made before, that whether it's traditional, whether it's modern, is there a quilt pattern that you have not made before that would kind of be like, if you couldn't make any other quilts, you could only make one quilt for the rest of your life, and you had to choose one quilt pattern, what quilt pattern would be your goal? Awesome. All right, Joyce, I understand. Yep, you guys, Debbie with In Quilt Effect is on live. You want me to come on over to Debbie's and watch her too? Oh, you're saying come on over for the M&Ms. Okay, gotcha. I understand. All right, you guys. Last one done. All right. So this is clue 2 for the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt Tree of Life. Clue number 2. There are 4 of these blocks in the small quilt. So these are now complete. All right. So what I'm going to do is put them in my box and get the box off the table. So we are done with that. So nobody's saying anything about what they would want to do. What would be your bucket list quilt? I have a quilt in my brain that I want to complete, and it is definitely a bucket list quilt for me. I want to complete a stained glass quilt. We're gonna eat M&Ms and watch Debbie together. I hear you, Lisa. Oh, I hear ya. I don't know if I'm going to continue to hang out then, if like everybody's going to leave. I feel kind of bad. Because it's been an hour and a half, so I understand. But that's okay. It happens. I guess I need to plan around Debbie's and Debbie's lives. I think what I'm going to do, my last of what I'm going to do is just get this Elizabeth Hartman trimmed and get these 2 flying geese done. And then I guess we'll call it quits. Since I know everybody's going to want to go over and watch Debbie. She is very entertaining. Very, very entertaining. If you have not checked her out, she is In Quilt Effect. She says, where the imperfect becomes perfectly loved. I do love her channel, I promise. All right, so what I've got to cut on the orange, So that is how all of my flying geese were planned to be with all these stripes. So they're supposed to be horizontal like that. However, on this one, I managed to screw that up. So my stripes are going vertical. So I do have my other square, so I just need to cut one more orange square, and I need to cut a white, my center. And then I do have my 2 squares for a blue flying goose unit, the smaller flying goose unit. So I just need to cut my white for that. So I've got 2 whites and the orange to cut. And let's see what my notification was. All right. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so when I said my bucket list is a quilt I designed for scraps. Oh, that's awesome. But would it use all of your scraps? Or do you have too many? You'd have to make multiples. I know I would. All right, so when I cut all of my squares for the flying goose wings. Awesome. It's Kennedy. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So when I cut the squares for these, that's all I really need. This is all I have left. It's a little stack, but it's these size. And then I've got whatever these size rectangles end up being. And then I've got this little strip of fabric, and it is folded in half. So like it's double the width or whatever. But this is all I had left when I got done. So Elizabeth Hartman, she writes a really, really good pattern, but you definitely don't have a lot of extra. So I only need one of these, so I have plenty, and I can actually cut it out of that. I don't have to worry about going into any of the other scraps. It's going to be just jamming with Betty. Awesome. Betty is the name of It's Kennedy's machine. So glad you have Betty back. That is awesome. Because I know you missed Betty. You missed Betty. All right, that is... Okay, that's just southeast. Okay. So I'm going to cut the 1 square of the orange because I only need the 1. And then we are going to cut 2 white rectangles. All right, so now I've got my orange. So now I just have to make sure that I sew them on so they come up horizontal. So this can go into my scrap bin. I can take it apart. I can do whatever the heck I want to with it, okay? I'm not going to be using it. And this little scrap right here is less than 1 inch, so it is going to go into the dog bed pile. It's not gonna hang out my 1 inchy scraps. All right, so I'm going to clip this here so I know which ones those are. Back in the piles. Oh, and this was for these. Okay, this was for my scraps. So I do have a box of all of my scrap pieces, and I'll show you guys that in just a minute too. So you guys can see literally just how much I ended up left over with. All right, so my rectangles, I do have an example rectangle that I can use. Perfect. And I'm just going to double check my measurements real quick. And they are that. Yes, they are that. Okay. All right, so I know what size they've got to be. And this is actually a width of fabric strip, or not, well, yeah, this is a width of fabric strip. So, I'm just going to cut off the selvage edge, make 2, the cut to cut the selvage edge off, and 1 more cut, and then I've got my two rectangles. So it is not a huge problem. So there's that. Move that aside. And these are the right size, so I don't have to worry about like recutting or anything like that. It is just one, the couple of cuts, the selvage and the other. And I'm just going to cut the first cut and get this out of the way because I don't need it. And rotate my mat. And this cut will actually cut off the selvage. And you guys, you know what, you guys? Okay, back to the strip I go. I cut it too short. It is one of those days, but that's okay. That is why you guys are here to see me on a Get Stuff Done day, because then you see that I am just, I'm normal. I'm just like the rest of you. I do miscut things frequently. I do have my own days where they are not where things are not working my way. All right, so I've done all my cuts. So I have my rectangles and I have my squares to attach to. And where's my, there's my, okay. That's the rest of them. That's my finished stuff over there. That's going to go with my finished. And I'm going to show you guys the scrap box. Lisa says, one of my first quilts was cats in grass fabric. Background, I was doing stitch and flip squares. As it turns out, grass is directional. Some of my grass is going sideways. Well, I guess grass could go sideways. It's not often, but I guess it could. I mean, we are in Wyoming, and there is that wind. We're going to go with that. All right, so literally, I mean, shorter than my hand. I mean, that strip is going to be longer than my hand, but that's the size. Same thing. I mean, this is not a whole lot of fabrics at all. Okay. So when you buy an Elizabeth Hartman pattern, be prepared that whatever yardage she says you need to have a minimum of that. Okay. So these are supposed to be fat eighths, which is 9 inches by 22 inches. And I did quarter yards because Joann's would not cut fat eighths. So I just went ahead and got a quarter of a yard. So if I had only cut what I needed for the pattern, I would have an entire fat eighth of fabric left of each, plus some scraps. But because I'm making this bigger, I basically cut both of my fat eighths. And so these are literally, I mean, I've got more white left over, but I didn't follow the yardage on the white. I did get extra on my background. But yeah, like all of these are, this entire box is nothing but my cut off pieces from all of these. I do have bigger pieces of some fabrics. Like in the bottom, there's a few that are bigger pieces, but those were the fabrics that are used for these big center stars. And that's the only places those fabrics are used as of right now. Is Kennedy Law current? I did the same thing doing the same pattern. I did not know y'all did the same pattern. So, you guys, I was going to be posting that link to, and I'm going to go ahead and get these sewn. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my that my orange is going to go the correct direction. And I am going to go ahead and sew my little half square triangle units while I'm here too. So I will be sewing all of that. So I was looking at for the Elizabeth Hartman pattern, and I have the Goats in Pajamas pattern from Art East. And it is a gorgeous pattern. It's got a lot of pieces, but I kind of expected that. I already kind of knew that. And I'm not sewing straight. So I'm ripping. The Art East pattern, I did get that, the Goats in Pajamas. But I was looking at the Elizabeth Hartman website, and Elizabeth Hartman has cats in pajamas. Like I needed another hole in my head. No, I have not bought it. No, I will not buy it because I don't have cats. I know somebody who would enjoy it, but I am not buying the Cats in Pajamas pattern. But there is one. And it's adorable. It is very adorable. But I do not need another Elizabeth Hartman pattern right now. I have a couple of patterns that I will be doing coming up. So once this set is done, I have a Jenny Beyer pattern. If I'm not mistaken, it is Jenny Beyer. Where is my scrap? I hid it from myself. I bet you I picked it up a minute ago when I was picking up my fabrics. I bet you that's what I did. You know what? I'm going to make a new one. This is my leader. Just to keep my machine from disliking me today. Because it's been doing that today. It is me. It's my fault. So I have a Jenny Beyer pattern that I will be doing. And it will be in purple. And they will be in batiks. And I have a paper piecing pattern called Aurora. Once I get going on that, or like once I get ready to pull that out, that will be something that I share the link for as well. And I did buy it as a kit, so I have all of the kit fabrics for it. So I can't just arbitrarily make it bigger. My bad. I like to make things bigger. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and sew my little half square triangle pieces while I'm here. So when you are sewing half square triangle units, when they're this small, what I like to do is my presser foot, I'm going to take it off so I can show you. My presser foot has two different widths on the side. So the right hand side is 1/4 inch. This little marking, this little tongue area is 1/8 inch. So I have two markings. I've got 1/8 and then I've got 1/4. And that's going to put me away from the needle, 1/4 inch away. The other side, this little line that they've got on the foot is 1/8 inch as well. I believe, I haven't tried it, I haven't tested it to verify, but the inside of the toe is 1/4 inch. Then if I go to the outside of this toe, this is a 3/8 inch seam. So what I do after I have sewn my seam, so let me see which one shows up better. It's probably going to be this blue. Let me grab, oh, you know what? I got built-in light. So this seam right here, I know it may be a little hard to see because it is white on blue. That is my original seam. Then in order to get my half square triangle seam, I come and put my foot up against my first seam, and that gives me 3/8 inch seam allowance, which gives me 1/4 for my original seam that I want, and gives me 1/8 inch for my half square triangle. So I am able to get away with it because I do it that way. So I'm going to shut that back off to not hurt my eyes today. We are trying not to hurt eyes today. It's one of those days. So, it's Kennedy. What pattern are you working on? Is it another chain quilt? And Lisa, how much do you have left on on getting your It's Quilt My Life ready? Let's see. Yep, I still have 1/4 inch, so we are still good. And I have 1/8 inch for the small. All right. I apologize that I get quiet, you guys. I promise. I do love you guys. I do get quiet sometimes. All right. So I'm going to press these open. Everybody's so quiet. Oh. So we've got a scrap. I need to just come up with a list of questions. So we've got a scrap quilt. that you've designed that you want to do as your bucket list? Let's see. Do you have a food that you will not allow in your sewing room or your sewing area? Is there something that you won't let people eat if they were to come to if you have a closed room, or even if you don't, is there a food that you don't let people eat in your sewing room near your fabric? I know for me, and I found my little scrap. You have all the months sewn together and your label made in the computer. Your hubby taught you how to scan fabric last night. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you got to be able to know how to scan fabric. Oh, I'm hitting my camera. My bad, guys. My bad. So yeah, is there a food that you do not allow around your fabric? Mine is pizza. I do not allow pizza. I will eat pizza, but I do not let anybody else eat pizza because I will pick it up and literally, I will wipe my hands and all of that. You're doing a wing it. Okay, awesome. Your wing it patterns always come out really good. I love those. All right, so we are going to make sure. All right, so if I sew that triangle, or if I sew that diamond, there we go. This will come out correctly. Got to make sure we're going to come out correctly. Got to make sure. We'll go back to my original scrap it. So I don't allow pizza, and I don't allow drinks without a resealable lid. So I know a lot of people like to drink coffee or tea or whatever, but if you can't screw that lid on, it's not coming near my sewing machines or my fabric. You still have the title on top to figure out how to attach. Then I need to put it back on it and bind it. I snack all of the time in my sewing room. So do I. So do I. And I always pull my shirt after I get a chip. So like my shirts, I'm very messy. I have to stain treat all of my shirts for the grease from the potato chips. But I guess that's my subconscious way of wiping my hand before I touch my fabric again. But pizza is one of those things. Pizza and drinks without lids, like screw-on lids. I have been known to knock over a few drinks every so often. And I am terrified of knocking over a drink and spilling it on fabric. And then, of course, you can't wash cut fabric until it is put together into something. Cannot wash it. Oh, and while I'm waiting on answers for the food, one of the other things that I also have to get done before I move is I have a baby quilt that is due to be done. The baby is due to be born, so I need to get the quilt done and everything but the label. Like I need to get it pieced, quilted, and ready to attach the label. Like I can go ahead and put the binding on even. I just need to wait to attach the label until baby's born. But so yeah, I've got a baby quilt to be done before she's born in May. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think I've got a new design I'm going to try. Not what I was originally going to do. I was originally going to do a log cabin. And now I'm thinking I'm going to do an Irish chain. That way I can kind of meld some different fabrics together. Are you guys wanting to see some of the fabrics I'm going to use? Do you need some fabric therapy today? Because I will pull up the fabrics. And then if you guys want me to keep going, I will keep going and we'll work on prismatic star today too. It's going to be a lot of ripping and fixing sashing, but that's what I need to do. I say gobstoppers, they're dangerous. Okay. So for those of you who do not know, It's Kennedy knows me well. I have a case of gobstoppers sitting out that just arrived, and I've probably got 9 boxes still left. Gobstoppers are my candy. They're my jam. So I actually have an entire bag of Gobstoppers candy. I mean, they are, it's all the Gobstopper Jawbreaker candies. And I have not found another Jawbreaker that has the same kind of flavor and texture. So it's kind of that weird little, like, quirk. I am a Gobstopper fanatic. So Gobstoppers and Dr. Pepper are kind of the two things that we keep around. Are they healthy for me? No. Do they keep me sane? Yes. So, yeah. All right. So, actually, I will let you guys vote. All right. So, I do now have both of my missing flying geese made. So, that was all I was waiting on to be able to finish out all of my star units. Do you guys want me to chain piece and get that going today? Or do you want me to swap over to Prismatic Star? Because that's what I was planning to do, was to work on Prismatic Star. And just so you remember, these are the Prismatic Star diamonds. The diamond units. So I'll let you guys tell me, which do you want me to work on? Or do you want me to call it quits? Because I was planning for 3 hours, so I've got about an hour. I could probably go longer, but I need to get permission from the head honcho. And I doubt he's going to watch 2 hours of video. So that's why I'm calling him head honcho, because he won't ever hear it. Okay. I am not seeing any commentary as to what you guys want. So I guess we are doing, I'm in Jelly Bean season, original box. Yes. I'm kind of a Jelly Belly person too. Jelly Bellies are kind of I would be kind of what I would get in trouble with. But, you know, that's kind of me. But Brock's are not bad at all. Brock's are not bad. All right, this is less than 1/4 of an inch, so it is fine. We're going to see if I've got to fix any of this sashing. Let's see. Now, I am actually, I'm in the weird camp. I am a candy corn person, too. I am definitely a candy corn person. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I'm going to have problems. Oh, no. I shouldn't have problems. I'm looking at the very end of the diamond to see if I'm going to have a point. If it's not, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Let's see. Oh, and for the record, I did give It's Kennedy some Gobstoppers. That's why she's saying they're dangerous. Because then I think somebody found you some Gobstoppers, didn't they? Or they sent you some. Something like that. All right. So the nice thing is I'm still using white thread in the machine, so I'm not having to swap back and forth. Once I get these two projects done, the Elizabeth Hartman and the Prismatic Star, I don't have another quilt. Do what brings me joy today. Anything with fabric. Even ripping, even using Jackie. I do need to get a new blade put into Jackie. I know where the blades are, I've kind of buried them a little bit. Because I've got 4 quilts that need to be quilted and a 5th that needs just binding. I love candy corn and dry roasted peanuts. My husband's kind of a peanut person. I am a cashew person. I like the texture of cashews. And I will eat pecans too. I can't eat a whole lot of pecans. because the texture just dries out your mouth a little too much. But I do love some pecans too. Peanuts have just never been like, they're good, but they're not my go-to. I do love some peanuts. Now, if they're still in the shell, I do like to do the whole cracking the shell open thing. And I like pistachios for that same reason. I like to play around and crack the shells, and I think the extra work slows me down on eating them too fast. I think that's what it is. That's what we're going to go with. So I would rip this. You're just a nut at heart. That's funny. That is so funny. Yeah, I think if I had to choose like one nut to eat, it would probably just be cashews. I tend to gravitate towards them the most. They tend to be the easiest for me to eat, and I can eat a whole lot of them. They have pickled jelly beans. Pickled jelly beans. Oh, no. No. Yeah, no. Oh, I might have to make a trip to Big Lots, though. I know somebody who would like pickled jelly beans. Do I want to prank someone or do I not? Oh, that would be funny. That would be so funny. To give somebody, yes, and I am out. I might have to come hang out with you. Wink, wink. I told you. I would order you a case. You just got to tell me if that's what you want. I'll order you a case and you just pay me back. That is perfectly fine. I have gotten, it's Kennedy, hooked on gobstoppers. Commence evil laughing. I really need to, I guess I could play that YouTube music. Oh, you know what? I could, the YouTube music that I've got, I could put some music in the background. I might do that for my next live, get stuff done live. Just put a little bit of music in the background and see what you guys think. I could do it right now if you want. If y'all want to hear some music. Or do you just like hearing the silence and me chatting? And the giggle. And the sighs. Because I gotta sigh. Gots to sigh. I hope I'm not boring you guys. I really hope I'm not. Because I know there's other people out there to watch too. So I haven't decided if I want to start doing a weekly, a guaranteed live that is just sewing and piecing and all of that. That is not my normal, mostly chat time, like Tuesday nights is. I just haven't decided when I would do it. I don't know if I would do a weekend live, regular scheduled live, or exactly what I would do. But I'm not going to put makeup on for it. I put makeup on for Tuesday nights. I don't do it for the impromptu lives based off of when I get up, when I feel like doing stuff. I know I'm going to be sewing later tonight too. I get to do a lot of that today. Yes, brings back my youth. Yes, gobstoppers, if there were a lot of other candies that I could not find that I ate as a teenager that I loved still, we would be having discussions. But a lot of the things that I ate as a teenager are still available. They just might not be what's popular in the checkout lane, if that makes sense. All right. Oh, there we go. That one is off. And I think I'm going to actually press this flat. All right. So we are going to reattach this one and give myself a little bit more room to work. And we're doing this part, because I screwed up. We're not doing this because this is, part of the normal pattern. We're doing this because I screwed up. All right, let me get all these little fuzzies. Oh, well, duh. Here's my long thread. I like it all, music, chatting, etc. After I finish folding my laundry, I will need to sign off because I need to put my thinking cap on and concentrate. Do you like sweet tarts? I don't. I will eat like one or two, but they're definitely not something I go buy. I would buy Starburst before I bought sweet tarts. Now, the one candy, there's a few candies that I won't eat. I don't like anything with the crisped rice stuff in it. I don't. So Kit Kats that have the wafer bars, Mr. Crunch bars, if you remember those. I don't like those. And I hate Jolly Ranchers. I used to eat them so much as a kid, but I hate them. When I would get a bag of Jolly Ranchers, because I would eat Jolly Ranchers by the bag, because, what kid doesn't? When I would eat Jolly Ranchers, I would invariably end up with lemon, lime, and sour apple. And I think watermelon too. And they're just so tart for me. I'm just not a huge fan of them. I mean, I'll eat sweet tarts, but only if, I just need something and there's nothing else that I like better. It's not something I would, completely turn down. It's just not what I would grab. I don't think I've ever been a huge sweet tarts fan. Now, this is going to show, it's not going to show my age necessarily, but I used to work in retail, and we had a regular that would come in, and he always went and bought, we were the only place in town that carried it, he would come in and buy a Charleston Chew. And if you've never had a Charleston Chew, it has the original Charleston Chew is a vanilla nougat type, it's got a vanilla nougat type center, kind of similar to what a Milky Way or Three Musketeers would have. It's definitely that kind of, it's a complete center. That is all it is. It's the vanilla nougat, whatever. And then the outside is coated in chocolate. And I had never eaten one before. I knew we sold them. I stocked them. And I knew that people actually bought them. But that was the candy he would buy. You love green apple Jolly Ranchers. My travel food is Funyuns and peanut M&Ms. I'll share your peanut M&Ms. The rest is all you. I'm not a Funyuns person either. My husband eats pig skin or whatever the pork rinds. He eats those. He eats onion rings. He eats all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just not a aromatic person. I guess that's my thing, is the aroma. The aroma gets me. All right, let's see if this next one needs anything. Pull the stack back over. And actually, I will add this to the okay to do something with stack. And I guess I could fix all of these that are slightly off, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to fix the ones that are off enough that I have to fix them. I got enough for diamond there. And this end. Let me check it. Yeah, I got enough. Yep, got enough. Oh gosh, where was I going with that? Oh, the Charleston Chews. So he would come in, and he was an old guy. And just a sweetheart of a gentleman, like that kind of guy. The the ones that like go, and we don't have a Waffle House here in Miami, but the ones that go to Waffle House or Hardee's or whatever and sit and chat while they all eat the same breakfast order that they order every morning. The old guys, the old sweet guys. He was one of those. Sweet tart suckers. Yeah, that's you. I can't do that. I would disagree with you. I don't think the Funyuns and peanut M&Ms would be a good combo, but each to their own. It's just me. It's just me. But so he would come in and buy these Charleston Chews. And, well, I was a teenager, and he liked to chat, as a lot of the older retired guys that go sit at Waffle House for breakfast like to do. And granted, I grew up in the Southeast, so Waffle House was kind of the place. It was inexpensive, and, the guys were regulars. But so he came in and he would chat with me every time he came in and shopped. I don't know his name. I don't even think I ever asked his name because we didn't collect names at the time. And he told me, or he's like, have you ever eaten one of these? And he's pointing to his Charleston Chew that he was buying. It's like, no, never had one. And he said, well, you know the best way to eat it, don't you? I said, no. I mean, I'd never heard of it until I started working here. He's like, okay, take one home. Your husband has a crazy pork rind story. So he told me, he's like, buy one, take it home, and put it in the freezer. When you take it out of the freezer, it will snap into individual sections. Your chocolate won't be melted. And granted, we lived in Alabama, in the South, so chocolate melts, especially Charleston Chew chocolate. It definitely melts. But he's like, put it in the freezer, and then when you take it out, you can snap off the portion that you want to eat, and you just snap portions of it apart until you get a bite-sized piece. And that's how you eat it. That's the best way to eat it. I mean, you can eat it other ways, but a Charleston Chew out of the freezer is the best thing. So I went home and tried it. I went ahead and bought a Charleston Chew that day. And guys, he is not wrong. He was not wrong at all. If you've never had a Charleston Chew, if you like vanilla and chocolate, and they do have, like, if you go to like a Cracker Barrel, or, you go online, you can, in some places, I don't know where else I would think of to look, but some places do have the strawberry flavored nougat Charleston Chew. So if you're a strawberry person, you might try that. I'm not a strawberry person, so it's not something I want. But get a Charleston Chew and go put it in the freezer, and let it freeze. I mean, I leave mine at least overnight, but you can freeze it like 4 hours if that's good enough. But when you take it out, when you go, it's a solid bar, but it will actually snap and it breaks, kind of like you're breaking glass. Like it's literally, it doesn't shatter or anything like that, but it will have a weak point somewhere, and you'll just be able to keep snapping portions off. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like it that I have found yet. It's really good. Pork rind story. I'm not sure if I want to know what a crazy pork rind story involves. That might be, I don't know if I would laugh or cringe. We're doing crazy and the word pork rinds, or the words pork rinds. I'm not sure. I vote you bring some Charleston Chews for us at Binding Friends. Yeah, when there's like 300 people, right? Oh, well, Well, by the time I would get there, they would be out of the freezer long enough that it wouldn't have the same effect. I mean, you need to do it right out of the freezer. Like, I mean, if it was still, like, if we had, like, 4 feet of snow on the ground, we might be talking. But, yeah. It's definitely something. You can also get, and I don't know if I've seen them lately, the theater boxes that have the mini Charleston chews. Those things, you can do the same thing to them. You don't need to snap them apart, but put the box of the mini Charleston chews in the freezer, and it's already the bite size. You just take one out when you want just that little kick, and it's perfect. Vanilla and chocolate. Yeah. Now, when it comes to other chocolate, like, I don't know if you've ever had one if any of you have ever had those Reese's Fast Break candy bars. Those came out when I was working one of the tech companies I worked, and they stocked those in the vending machine. And let me tell you, those those will give you a sugar rush. If I advertise, maybe we have 300 people fighting friends. Yeah, but my pocketbook would not handle the gas to drive me from here to Binding Friends. Oh, it's only a few miles away, but I couldn't handle the budgetary constraints. I can bring you all a sheet of paper that tells you exactly how to eat a Charleston Chew. That I can do. I'll cut it little bitty, like business card size. I am sure I would laugh. It involves the police. Okay. I'm prepared. When you put it in the chat, I will read it. I'm going to move my camera just a hair too. There we go. Oh dear. We are about to find out what a crazy story with pork rinds involves. I am hoping, unless you're going to hold out on us. And how did we get back on food? I think it was Lisa's fault. Lisa, is it your fault that we're back on food? Oh, I was on a Zoom with someone, and we kept getting onto the topic of food. We would try to get off the topic, and we could take over the offering. Somebody would say something, and we would end up back on the topic of food. Like, we literally could not get off the topic of food. And I felt so bad. Because, like, anybody who's watching this is going to be hungry. Food is a bad topic, you know? Because everybody's got opinions on food. I need to come up with, like, a list of things. Oh, I got a good question. What's a color that you do not like to sew with? Not a color that you don't like to wear, a color that you don't like to sew with. Lisa, I'm usually an instigator. Yes, you are. Meet my instigator, people. We have Lisa in the chat. She's an instigator. Okay. You're welcome. No, love you. Can't, yeah. You're welcome. You're allowed to be an instigator. I allow it. It's all my fault. I allow it. All right, we are going to see if that is going to be enough. If I do that, I don't know if it will be. Let's see. I'm going to move it down just a hair. And we are going to see if this is going to be enough of a move, a shift. I have a feeling like it's not, because those look really close to my current seam lines. So I'm going to move it and shift it a little bit. Let's see. Because I don't remember. I guess I should have paid attention to which end was the problem end when I unsewed, before I unsewed completely. But do I do that? No, of course not. All right. I feel like that might work. But we're going to try it. We are going to try it. We're going to sew a few stitches. And if I have to rip it again, I will rip it again. We will do it. I do not mind. We will keep ripping until we get it right. And once I get through the whole stack and make sure we've got all of them sashed properly, I'll probably call it for today. That way I can I'll continue to sew today, but that way nobody feels obligated to come hang out. And I can turn my sewing machine light back on so you guys aren't blinded by a white light. You know what? We're going to try something real quick. We are going to see on the lighting if I bring it down to that. No, that's still a white light. Okay. All right, I tried. We tried. She is innocent. Yeah. She brought up food. She kept telling me to come over for M&Ms. She's innocent of all charges until proven guilty. However, she did say for me to come over for M&Ms. All right, so what's one color you do not like to sew with? If you have your choice, if you were to plan a quilt, if you were to plan all the quilts in your life, what is one color you would not find in your quilts? Because we all kind of have a color that's not, either it's not in our stash because we don't buy it because it doesn't ever appeal to us, or we have that color that we only have it in our stash because we needed it for something specific, or we have that color we forget that even exists. What is that color? My color that I do not have in my stash is yellow. So this quilt has yellow in it, and my Elizabeth Hartman has yellow. These are the first times that I have ever used this much yellow at all. Like I've never put any yellow. Blue and pink. Ooh. I'm curious what your stash has then, because my stash has a lot of blue. A lot of blue. I don't have a lot of pink, but I definitely have a lot of blue. So now I'm curious. I'm curious what colors you buy, what colors you have. Because this is a learning experience for me. I will tell y'all in person if you want to have pork. Okay. So we will have a pork rind story later. May not be on live, but we will have a pork rind story later. All right. So I fixed one end, but I screwed up the other one. You guys, I am good at this. I am really, really good at it. All right. You're not into baby pink. Okay. Fair enough. I used to not like brown or orange, but now I have a bin of both. I now like all colors. I really like contrast. I gotta go now and eat jelly beans. Oh. She's trying to tempt us. Oh, okay. This will work. This will work. So yellow is definitely not a normal color in my stash. And amazingly enough, so I went looking for different like reds in my stash. And red is not a color I can wear. But I don't have a lot of red in my stash. Like my red collection, Like, I was looking for reds, and I might have some Christmas fabric that has red in it. And I have a red, white, and black quilt that I started. So I have reds for that. But I just don't buy red. Like, it's never in my shopping cart. Like, unless I am planning something where I need red, I don't buy red. It's not. I don't buy yellow either. I had to go out and specifically buy yellows. I mean, this came in the Jelly Roll pack, this yellow, for this prismatic star. Just never been a fan of those colors, but we'll use them. Okay, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Another color that's not in my stash is peach. I had to go buying peach and coral colors. And it's not that I hate them, it's just I never buy them. Like, I have to be doing something specific with them, I think, for me to have a reason to buy them. Okay. Is there a quilting technique that you've done that you will never do again? Is there something that you've attempted, you've done, you did a quilt with it, but that will be the only quilt you ever do with that technique? I do have an applique quilt planned, and I do applique, but I don't gravitate towards it. So applique is not really my thing, because I want it to look like hand applique, but I want to do it with the ease of machine applique. So it's not, I will do applique. It's Kennedy can tell you, I have done applique. I've done applique recently, within the last 6 months, but I do not enjoy it. Enjoy the jelly beans? Yes, absolutely. Enjoy the jelly beans for us, Lisa. Absolutely. Need to get her some pickled jelly beans. What did you think? I am not a huge fan of applique. What else do I not do? I don't, oh, did I do the wrong pile? Oh no, this is the correct pile. That's where it's supposed to go. You want to do a red and white quilt? Awesome. Now, is there a quilting technique you've done that you won't ever do again? That you don't want to do? I've done curved piecing, and I am about to do a whole bunch more of it. So curved piecing doesn't faze me. Y seams doesn't faze me. Applique phases me. Applique is not a big bad beast, but it doesn't, like, I have to be in the mood to do applique. And one of the quilts that I'm got going right now, the Super Secret quilt, will have applique. So, I'm going to be doing applique, but it's not usually what I want to do. I have threads all over me. Not that that's anything new. I always have threads all over me. Now, okay, here's one. I don't like doing sampler quilts. I am not a huge fan of a sampler. It's not that I think that they're not pretty, and it's not that I don't think that there's a place for them. But sampler quilts are not something that I find enjoyable. Like, I would really have to love the fabric. And, you'd have to surprise me that it's a sampler. But like the traditional samplers where there's like 12 blocks or whatever, or 24 blocks or how many ever blocks, and you get, so many blocks a month or something. I don't enjoy those. Those are not, like this cotton cuts, that's different. It's not a sampler. You're assembling pieces and parts every month. You're not doing like a set block, every month. I mean, it's set by cotton cuts, but it's not like a skill builder, sampler or something like that. I don't enjoy doing them. Let's see. What else? What else can we think of? So on that red and white quilt, do you already have a plan? It's Kennedy? Or is it just you want to do one that's just in reds and whites? And do you already have the fabric for your red and white quilt? Because falling in love with the reds would be my challenge. Because I got to fall in love with the reds. I guess I need to get my glasses checked, y'all. Because I am finding myself holding everything away from me to be able to see what I'm doing. All right. I'm going to get this one done, and then we will call it for the day, I think. Because I hear motion out there that I need to check and see what's going on, surely. I think it'll be good for another minute or two. Let's see. All right. All right, we are up to 4 viewers. Woohoo! If you are watching and not chatting, that is perfectly fine. But if you are wanting to chat and you are not able to, you do have to hit subscribe in order to be able to come into the chat. That just protects the subscribers from getting a whole bunch of random people just hopping into the chat and saying whatever the heck they want to say. I'm glad everyone is here. And if you are just tuning in, I am working on a little bit of sashing. I'm not going to be on much longer today. I have done my cotton cuts mystery block. It's Kennedy paper piecing. Never done it, but it freaks me out. Paper piecing's not bad. I promise. You just got to get the hang of it. Some patterns are a lot easier than others. So I am doing some sashing stuff. Some of my sashing that I put on, I did not put on correctly. So I am having to do some unsewing to get everything taken apart and be able to reassemble. So let's see. I forgot to rip a little bit of a side seam. And this is a batik, this white that I'm working. Gladys says, I love doing applique, but I'm also not a fan of sample quilts yet. They just, I don't know. There's something about doing a completely different technique every month. If I want to learn a technique, I want to do an entire quilt of that technique. I think that's where my brain is with it. I think that's why I would struggle. I keep missing stitches, y'all. Yeah, once we get this one done, I will call it. All right. Let's see. All right, there we go. All right. So when you are ripping a batik, or when you are unsewing, I should phrase it that way, when you are unsewing with a batik, because a batik will hold the holes, the batiks also hold your finger pressing very well. I'm hoping you guys can see that in the camera. The batik does have holes in it, and to reduce the amount of holes and the extra size that ripping would because if you rip it incorrectly, I always go in and I rip between stitches, like every third or fourth stitch, and then I will have a long thread, and I've already pulled this one out, but you will have a long thread on the opposite side. You just pull that long thread and your entire piece comes out. And it does not put any extra stress or strain on your batik fabric. So you are not having to worry about losing any room with it. All right, so we are going to move it down. And I do already have kind of an idea of where I need to move it to. So we're going to shift it just a hair. And I think that will be plenty. I'm going to just lay it there for a second and press it back so I can see if my other piece comes across it, and it does. All right. I have done sample quilts, but it's not my cup of tea. Yeah, I've done a couple. And I think I keep getting stuck when I do a sample quilt. I do have one that is a whip, or well, more of a UFO. But I've got to find where it's at. And of course, when I move, in a couple months, I will find it. But the group that I was doing it with was doing everything by hand. So they were hand sewing everything. And I can hand sew. I'm capable of it. Within reason now. I'm having more trouble than I was back when I started it. But I don't enjoy hand sewing. So I would take the pattern home and I would machine sew my pieces. I believe I did. But that was my plan, was to finish it by machine sewing it, because I wasn't enjoying the process of hand sewing it. But that group did a lot of hand sewing. And a lot of them were, twice my age, and I was definitely the young kid in the group. But I've never found solace and comfort in hand sewing. It does not, it's a necessity for me, but it doesn't bring me that enjoyment, that creative enjoyment that a lot of people see from hand sewing. So that's why I think my applique needs to be machine applique, because I don't enjoy doing it by hand. It's just not even remotely on my enjoyment list. So Glenda, since you love doing applique, would you consider doing a Rose of Sharon quilt, or do you know what I'm talking about? You try the mystery quilts along, but definitely not my thing. Yeah, and it's not everybody's. There's a lot of people who can't get into mystery quilting, and there's nothing wrong. If they don't enjoy it, they don't enjoy it. And I don't do a lot of mystery quilting. This is not, it's not something I gravitate towards, but it was definitely, kind of opportunity fell into my lap, and I wasn't going to turn away the opportunity, and it was more bonding than, I knew it wasn't going to be a hard thing to do, but, it was something to help someone else out too. So I am enjoying it. I'm not jumping to get my blocks done like first thing, but it's also because I know I have an entire month to do it. And I think that's another thing that with mystery quilts that I struggle with. If they're drawn out like that, I don't enjoy the drawn out quilts. I want something that's a little bit more, y'all are gonna laugh at this. I want something a little bit more immediate satisfaction, and therefore I'm doing Elizabeth Hartman. But yeah, it's not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. So I'm gonna swap cameras real quick, and that way you guys aren't seeing all my machine or whatever else. I'm going to be taking a break here soon and going to go grab some lunch and see what's going on out there. So Tuesday night, we are going to be talking about the Elizabeth Hartman quilt. And provided I have gotten more done on Prismatic Star, I will show where I'm at with that. I am hoping to have the rest of the top put together by Tuesday. So I've got all of tomorrow and most of Tuesday morning to put that together. I will be showing what my progress is on Elizabeth Hartman. The Rose of Sharon, okay, I understand. Yeah, something that I will not be doing. There were a lot of people around me that did Rose of Sharon's for a while, and I know the concept, I know what it looks like. It is a lot of applique, but it's not something that sticks for what I want to do. So it's not on my bucket list, I'll put it that way. So I'm going to show what I've done on Prismatic Star. I will walk you guys through what I have done and where I'm at with the Elizabeth Hartman. Maybe I will have the entire layout ready. I may even have some of it pieced. I'm not quite sure how far I will be into that. I will have my star systems pieced, but I don't know if I'm going to have the entire top pieced. I don't think I will, just because I've got so much left on this to do. Then that will have one quilt top done. By next Tuesday, I will have that Elizabeth Hartman pieced. And so that finishes out, so the 12th and the 19th. And so the last Tuesday before Easter, I will show you guys where I am at with the baby quilt, because I will be getting going on that. I'm thinking an Irish chain. Haven't set everything in stone. I haven't cut anything. I do need to pre-wash because I pre-wash all of the fabrics, especially for baby quilts. But I will show you guys where I'm at with that. And I agree. I wish the mystery was every couple weeks. Yeah, it would definitely motivate a lot of people to get it done and not, sit on it. I think I understand why I've seen creators doing cotton cuts mysteries, for example, and they are going back to 3 or 4 or 5 months ago and this clue that they didn't complete. And they're like 6 months behind, and they've got 6 months of catching up to do. And I cannot handle doing the 6 months catching up. Like, that's not I cannot let myself do that. That is just not in my DNA. I'm saying a lot. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. But I also need to get 4 quilts quilted. I have got to get those quilted, and I've got one that I need to bind. So you guys will be seeing progress on that. I think April is going to be a lot of getting quilts quilted. And I've also got to get all 5 bound. So I will have a lot of binding to do. I will be doing some binding tutorials coming up as I go through those. So if you are not comfortable with binding, or you haven't seen or had a refresher on binding, or you might want to learn a few tips or tricks on the way that I do my binding, then it's definitely important not to miss April, because I will be doing some of that, because I need to get everything bound and out the door before I start moving things from here to another studio in May. So I am looking forward to getting everything moved. I'm nervous because it's going to take a lot of effort, and I will basically have to be here 1 week, and then I will be in the new location the next week. So I want to try to do a clean transition and get everything done. So if I don't do quilting in April, I will do quilting in May during the move, or I will do quilting in June to get everything off the table. I do have the temperature quilt that I need to get done. So, once these 2 are done, I will have the super secret quilt that I will be working on, but obviously can't work on it on lives because that's not super secret. And I will have the baby quilt. So I won't have a whole lot of piecing on the table once I get these 2 off. once I get the Prismatic Star and the Elizabeth Hartman off. But definitely catch me on Tuesday. I will have updates. I will have a lot of updates. Maybe by Tuesday I'll have more information about dates for move. I don't know. It's still up in the air. I'm going to finally get my fabric for the rest of the Snail's Trail. Awesome! Trying to work on it, but my toilet cracked, so I've been doing plumbing work. That's how that makes me feel. I am sorry. I know plumbing work is not necessarily fun. The plumbing work is only fun when you get to take a nice hot shower and wash off all whatever gunk and crud or the cleaning products and all of that. Getting all of that washed off and down an actual working drain. So I understand. I definitely understand. So, all right. Well, I am going to go ahead and get off of here, you guys. I will be back Tuesday night. I've already got the live scheduled. So if you've not got the notifications, before you leave, definitely hit the like button wherever it's at. I think it's over here. No. Wait. Well, it might be over here, depending on how you're viewing. Depending on how you're viewing the video. So definitely hit the like, help me out with that, and make sure to catch me on Tuesday night. And I'm going to also be looking at my schedule, so I'm hoping to have some updates as to when I'm going to start scheduling a regular weekend time sew along kind of thing like this. So that way we kind of have like a set schedule, so you know when I'll be here, and you know when you're not going to miss me, or if you are going to miss me, and all of that. So I agree, Glenda. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, okay? Bye.